IGT, baby.
What's cracking, y'all? It's your boy Junior Mafia coming back to you with another video. So we got hit with some unfortunate news earlier today, and there's been reports that Sheamus will be leaving WWE once his contract expires. And in my opinion, it's just brutal to see that. And to hear those news, about that, knowing Sheamus and what he's capable of as a wrestler, especially in his age right now, still can go in the ring, still can do a lot of things. And I felt like since the injury happened, and not seeing him that time, it's been really brutal to see right there. So we're gonna deep dive into it. I got an article from Sports Illustrated we're gonna check out, and then I'm gonna give my thoughts overall, after that. So let's go ahead. I'm gonna switch my screen over and let's get right into it. So the article says Sheamus reportedly set to depart WWE, update social accounts. A former WWE champion will be departing the company shortly when their contract officially expires. So I'm not really going into too much detail here. But I see right here. So it says, according to Sean Rossap on Fightful Select, Sheamus set to depart WWE once his current contract expires. WWE report approached Sheamus about reconstructing his deal while he's been sidelined with an injury, and the Celtic Warrior swiftly rejected the offer. Sheamus suffered a shoulder injury in November of last year while teaming up with John Cena and Rey Mysterio against the Judgment Day. He would end up having surgery to repair the injury the following month. As for his contract status, it's set to expire soon, leaving WWE with no reason to impose a 90-day non-compete as they did with the New Day earlier this year. Sheamus seamlessly signed a new contract with WWE in September 2024. So if that's the case, it appears to have been only a 2-year deal. You scroll through. They probably told us about him joining AEW, but that's pretty much what it is right now. So here's how I feel about it overall. It sucks that once again TKO still approaches these WWE superstars and then to take pretty much a friendly deal. And the sheer fact that they approach Sheamus with this only because he's injured and all of that, that's the unfortunate situation there. Because I feel like with Sheamus, if it wasn't for injury, I guarantee he would have been more featured on the show. You don't let a talent like that, just sit there and be catering all the fucking time. Like, absolutely not. So for that to happen because of his shoulder injury, that once again, injuries happens in professional wrestling, and there's nothing you can do but just continue to bounce back and get better. In this scenario, of course, I don't want to take no cut from that because, I feel like my value, I'm worth it. This is the same thing that the New Day was pushing back on, or Kofi and Xavier Woods. And in this case with them, I think Xavier was injured and it was only Kofi that was still present every time on SmackDown with Grayson Waller. And due to the midst of that, they wasn't really doing so much with them. So they're like, all right, if you're not going to be featured on the show that much and here and there, I'll take a pay cut and all that too to save up on it. Which, if you really think about it from the standpoint with TKO and how much money they have right now, from these situations right here, you don't envision a circumstance that they will take any fucking pay cut whatsoever. Like, let's keep it real. And I'm talking about the talents, of course. So they refuse to say, you know what? If we don't get our full money that we deserve and all, I'm out the door. And rightfully so. I'm never going to disagree how people should get with their contract and what they're worth. And in this case right here for Sheamus, it's unfortunate he got hurt, and I wouldn't want him to take a pay cut either and all that too. Like, if I can go somewhere else and make more money there and not have to take no friendly deal to, be able to get what I'm worth, then that's what I'll do. And prior to Sheamus getting injured, he was part of the, like I said, the last time is now tournament he was supposed to be a part of, but because of the injury, he had to be out of there. And then he was also in the tag team with, I think, both Rey Mysterio and I believe John Cena taking on the Judgment Day. So I'm like, if you're being brutally honest, it was nothing he could do at that moment there. And this is the same guy we're talking about, Sheamus, who the last time he was actually in a match that was really crazy and stuff like that was with Rusev, I believe, at Clash in Paris. And it was you could correct me if I'm wrong, like a Belfast Brawl or something like that. And that match delivered. Both men put on an absolute clinic. And I was excited to see that. You could also bring up the feud with him and Drew McIntyre. Like, there's ways that you're able to utilize him and be featured more on the show. And I guarantee you, if you come back from his injury, it pretty much would have been the same thing, because you're not going to let Sheamus sit there and catering and not put him on the show. I just still think, once again, this is just TKO and their greed and want to have people take friendly deals in order to stay on the roster, because either they're injured or they just don't got nothing for that specific wrestler and all, and pretty much hyped them up in catering. But it's really unfortunate, and it's brutal to see him being in a situation right here, and the fact that he says, you know what, I'm not taking it. I'll wait till my contract expires, and then I'm gonna go somewhere else. So it sucks that he has to be another superstar that been put in this position. You know, the last one, like I said, was Xavier was in Kofi Kingston, a New Day. And because of that, and him deciding to walk away, of course, they're gonna put the 90-day compete clause on him. So now it will keep him off of off of shows for that, for like 2 months or so. So that's the shit that sucks. Now, do I think he'll go to AEW at after the 90-day complete clause and he's fully like healed up and ready to compete again? I see that happening. I don't envision a circumstance he goes to TNA. And in AEW, he can have some banger matches on it too, because you got some history with some superstars that used to be from WWE. Plus, you still got some of the AEW superstars alongside New Japan Pro Wrestling superstars. So he'll have some fresh feuds to go at. And Sheamus, once again, can still go at it in the ring. That's how much this man is that good. And I truly believe if he goes to AEW, he's gonna deliver. There's so many feuds that he can be a part of and will not get lost in the shuffle. That's just how much of a good talent he is. Scratch that, a great talent he is. So it sucks to see, man, and I just really hope, one, he fully recovers from his shoulder injury and stuff, and two, that he just get what he's worth. That's how I look at it from that standpoint, man. And it sucks to see that TKO and what they're doing with these WWE talents and have them pretty much trying to take friendly deals or just pay cuts. So I'll only understand if you're not being utilized that much on the show and you're not generating that buzz, that revenue and all that too. That I will understand. But this is Sheamus we're talking about, to where every time he step foot through those curtains and go in that ring, everybody is laser focused, because we know how much of a talent he is and what he brings to the table. You feel me? So that's how I looked at it from that standpoint, man. And once again, it just sucks to see how that whole thing turns out. So I wish him nothing but the best, and I hope he just take this time to just heal up. And whatever he decides to do on his next journey, whether that is AEW, whether that is TNA, he just go out there and prove to everybody what he's worth, what he's value, and what you're getting out of him as a talent. So that's how I feel about it overall. So comment down below. Let me know what's your thoughts on Sheamus potentially leaving WWE. I guess potentially because he is, and you know, him having to take a friendly deal from TKO to stay on there because of his injuries and stuff like that. So I definitely want to hear your opinions down below. For me personally, I think it's the right move for him. You know, just seeing how TKO been moving crazy ever since this whole New Day situation. Yeah, it's not looking good. That's how I feel about it. But I definitely want to hear your opinions down below and all. But I appreciate your love and support. Road to 300 subscribers. Continue to keep God first. Just the process of anything that you do at life. Your time will come. And I'm going to catch y'all on the next video. Peace.
Game over, yeah.